What's up, guys? Spraggy here, back with Poker VIP. We're playing once again on globalpoker.com. We are playing some sit and goes. On the right hand side we have a 9-handed 3 sweeps cash sit and go. On the left hand side, that side, we have a 20 sweeps cash 6-handed turbo sit and go. I'm pretty sure that we're going to want to be going all in here. We're about 3 hands into the tournament. It's a turbo 2040. This guy opens to 200. From what I've seen in these games, this is almost certainly going to be a shove for us. So we're shipping in. Obviously, if we bust here, we will just register another one for the purposes of the video. But I'm pretty sure this is going to be a pretty profitable move against this player pool. When we get called off by ace king, we are flipping and looking to hold, of course. But we do not. So we better, I guess we better hit the lobby. Hit the lobby straight away. We're not out yet. Ace jack suited, pretty reasonable hand to pick up. 3.5 BBs. We are going to shove. Top 2 are going to get paid on the 6-handed game, and I imagine top 3 on the right-handed game. This on the left, like I say, it was a turbo. But we are still alive. 200 chips. Looking for that respin, I suppose. I think we can probably fold the 5-2. In the big blind, we should be okay to wait for something a little better. Obviously, if we can take a flop for free, that would be fantastic. If we make any connection to the board, we will just be leading all in. Alright, we check. We'll take a flop. And we're not going to shove here. So we'll just wait for another spot to try and spin our stat back up. Let me take a look what's running here in the Global Poker lobby. Not that I'm defeatist, of course. I'm definitely going to give this one a whirl. I think this will be a shove. Obviously, if it gets folded to us, queen, suited queen, blind v blind for, like I say, 3 BBs. 3.5. Okie dokie, all in we go. We definitely get looked up by some worse hands here. Or he can just fold. Sweet. We'll definitely take that. And we can afford now 5 big blinds. We can afford to fold the 10-5 off on the button. We've got a few hands to, few free hands to see. Hopefully we can find something nice. Right hand side is a slow structure tournament. 9-handed game. Non-turbo event. So we're just going to fold the queen 9 here. We're going to fold the 10-5. As I said, I'm going to keep an eye on the lobby because I want to keep the video obviously as smooth as possible. We're just going to fold here as well. A lot running, not a lot about to start. That's the problem here. Let's find some 6-handed games. Maybe if we start the lobby off, it'll entice some people to come and join us. Let's jump in here. Okay, pretty strong hand on the right-hand table. As is traditional on Global Poker, you do see a lot of limps pre-flop and whatnot. So we're just going to ISO this one really big. Pump it up with the ace-queen of diamonds. This guy hardly ever bluffs, is that a fact? Left hand side, 5 PBs, we're going to fold here. And we pick it up on the right hand side. We are registered into a 11 sweeps cash, 10+1, 6-handed sit and go. So hopefully, should we lose our left side table, we can jump into that one and keep 2 on the go. As ever with these videos, I'll probably we'll try and keep it at about 30 minutes. Could be a little longer if we, well, hopefully if we make a run for the win. Could be a little bit shorter if we bust at like 25-minute mark or whatever. Obviously, this is a really strong hand for us to shove here. Extremely short stacked with the ace 10 of diamonds. We do get re-ISO'd by WI Chiefs fan. We'll see what we're rolling with here. Hopefully we can find a double up, get ourselves back into the tourney. And he has the pocket 4s. We flop a 10. That's good. Just looking to fade. Should be fine. Nice. Alright, the comeback is on. The comeback is real. Pick up the ace 4 of hearts. Probably not a hand we're going to be doing too much folding with here, given our short stack. Definitely blind v blind. We're really happy to be stacking off with this one, should our opponent shovel in. If he limps, we are just going to jam. Ship it all in for 500. And we take it down again. Nice. 7-4 of diamonds, blind v blind. Typically we would just be folding here, right? With a limper from under the gun, I don't mind, given how passive these games play. Like, I don't think the big blind is going to go crazy too often. I think we're okay to slide in for the extra 30 chips to the suited hand. Curse of the commentator. All in, we're going to have to fold. Won't be shoving this from the button, this will just be a fold for us. We've got a little bit more breathing room now, of course. On the left-hand side, early stages of the tourney, we're still going to open the ace-10 suited. It's going to make it about 135 chips. Get some action from Bear Boyo on the button. And we take a flop. It's a pretty dry board, honestly. We do have a backdoor spade. I think we are going to bet. There's going to be plenty of folds for us here. And we do have some fairly decent backdoors. I don't think we need to bet particularly large. Just trying to get like hands like 7-8 of hearts and whatnot to fold, and Jack 9. Just complete misses. I don't think we're ever folding a pair or a queen. There's not too many draws out there. And definitely some reasonable barrel opportunities, like a jack or a king or a spade. We're going to open again here with the 4s from under the gun. It's a little bit wide, I guess, in a 9-handed game. But in a softer player pool, where we're not going to get 3-bet too often, I think this is fine. Left-hand side will be a shove from the cutoff. Less than 10 big blinds. About 8. We do get jammed on here with the 4s. I'm just going to fold. The good news is my 11 sweeps cash tournament has started, so if we do bust here, I'll be able to slide the action in, but I'll just keep it off screen for now. Jamming here with the a7, looking to steal blinds. And we get it through. Not going to take that risk with the 4-2. Right hand side, as is typical, we get lots of limps. It's going to be very wide, very wide ranges. Just people looking to have some fun, see some flops, see what comes down in the middle, I guess, and take it from there. This hand would not be strong enough to ISO. I think we're happy just to check and take it into the streets. The bad news is we just busted my reserve sit and go first hand. We got it in with ace king against pocket queens off screen. So my backup plan has failed. I guess we're just going to have to win the 20 sweep sash turbo tourney instead then. We'll just have to keep rallying back here. We have an ace high here. 60 chips, 60 chips. I honestly feel like we can call. I don't think we want to be committing to calling a river. But for the price here on the double paired board, calling seems reasonable. This is a kind of a crazy run out. We still lose to any pocket pair, of course, which I still think it's quite possible. One of our opponents has something like 6 7s or 8s. Chooses not to raise pre. I mean, for 60 chips again, I think we just call and expect to chop a decent amount of the time, which we do. Very unfortunate river for downwind, who had a full house on the turn. We're drawing very thin. Left-hand side, ace-10. Turbo tournament, 6 BBs. 5.8. This is just going to be a jam here. It's really, you know, says a lot about the games here with 7, 8 big blinds deep. People are still open limping. Very recreational pool here. I still think I want to go with this. Despite the 5x raise, ace-10 suited just too strong to fold for 6 big blinds. And we get it in ace-ace-jack. We flop a 10. We're looking for a hold. Nice, so I run good. I think this is a fine decision for 6 big blinds. I can't imagine folding being correct. And from nearly being at the tournament, we now move into second place in chips. And again, I think calling here for 50 is going to be the play. Getting a very good price with a hand that's going to flop pretty reasonably well, honestly. I'm going to start with a check. We have a lot of equity here. But I'm really not sure if we want to be calling off. Definitely not going to call, like, if there's a call behind us. I still think maybe we're just folding to this guy's jam. He's almost always going to have a better pair, right? Definitely folding now. He has the same hand that this guy's pocket fives. It's kind of out there, isn't it? I mean, this guy's going to have, like, a lot of 10x, a lot of 8x, a lot of draws that are just going to shove our equity against that range. Isn't very strong. Very rarely does he have complete air. I mean, I think this is the bottom of his range, and we chop with it. So I'm more than happy to fold, even though, of course, in this instance, we would have won the pot. Again, very typical of the player base on Global. This guy calls with pocket fives, with two players still left out behind him on what isn't, you know, an awful board for him. Does put us in a pretty reasonable spot, though. Puts me in an even better situation, because it means I can probably play this table for hopefully the duration of the video, which makes my life easier, instead of scrambling around the lobby, I suppose. 10's obviously a very good hand. I think probably best just to shove here for 12 big blinds. Obviously, we could raise a little smaller to induce some action, but there's going to be some really bad flops for 10, so I think it's better for us just to put all the chips in. I think we're still going to get plenty of action on Global poker tables anyway. We do get re-iced all in by Ice Cold, and he has the kings. Well, I guess that's some action. We are drawing dead on the turn, and we will have to find ourselves another game to play. Keep you guys busy. I don't feel like we made any mistakes in this tournament. I feel like we played our hands correctly. That's just the way it goes sometimes, right? So let's grab another one. I think we'll stick with one 6-handed and one 9-handed if we can. Let me register here. I guess we'll just let this play out on the left-hand side until my new tourney starts. Right-hand side, we're down to 12 big blinds. These tournaments are pretty fast and furious. I think my best advice for you guys, if you're playing in these games, is really to learn ICM, learn push-fold strategy, and make sure that you're taking advantage of every opportunity to steal blinds, you know, good steal spots, and also being aware of the stacks around you in the making some folds around the bubble, you know, with people a lot shorter stack than yourselves. Always be aware of when you're going to be able to ladder into the money and whatnot. That's going to be the secret to beating these games. And I think your opponents on this website are invariably going to misplay those situations quite frequently. Jack 9 suited, I think we are just going to fold here. Seems like a pretty reasonable decision. So this is the sort of situation on the left-hand table. So, like, obviously the big bluffer should not really be getting involved in too many pots with the very, very short stack here. And Ice Cold should be jamming because the big bluffer can't really afford to call off here with the short stack behind. This player doesn't want to bust when this player is so short. So Ice Cold L should really be exploiting that and jamming a very, very wide range from the small blind. As played, it looks like the big bluffer is just going to be putting a load of chips in. So I would imagine the big bluffer, I mean, they should have a very strong hand here. And they have Jack 9, which is a flush. But like this Ace 10 is a trivial shove from the small blind into the big blind. This is a big mistake, which, you know, allowing this person to see a flop is now put him in a situation where he's not going to be able to play the bubblers aggressively. The big bluffer now is going to be able to take control, and neither of these players want to bust one away from the money. So just denying them the chance to, you know, pick up equity with the Jack 9, I think is way more valuable than trapping with a limp at this stage of the tourney. as I said, we do have another one, another tourney on the way, but I think it's pretty interesting for us to sweat this tourney as well, because, you know, we can see the mistakes that the players here are likely going to be making. I mean, I think this ace-10 is a pretty big one. Very, very short stack play here on the right-hand side, but I think we're just going to roll with the fold with the queen-10. The pairs for the tournament on the right are... Let me find here. Let's see my lobby. It's going to be top 3 paid, right? What's this one called? A net turbo. Here we go. Alright, so the pairs are going to be 5.4 for third, 8.1 for second, and 13.5 for first. Left-hand side, they are all in. Jack 7 gets her on the turn. And wins, which means they're probably going to be heads up soon enough. Mecha Man down to a big blind. So Ice Cold's mistake goes unpunished. I mean, I guess he put himself in a situation where he had to get it in. Jack 7 versus Ace King to stay alive in the tourney. Which he could have avoided all that just by jamming the ace-10, keeping his chip lead, and being aggressive. Right-hand side, we get a min-raise and a call. We're not going to take a flop with 2-3 off, even for the great price. I think this is a situation where it's fine to fold in the big blind. And again, like these players, really, this is definitely a push-fold stage of the tournament. Less than 10 big blinds. I think the min-raise is just unwarranted. We are up to 3 people registered in the 10+1, so hopefully... by the time this heads-up battle is finished, we'll be jumping in. Becomes significantly less interesting when we're heads-up, just because there's no, you know, bubble considerations, which are probably more valuable situations to learn than playing heads-up off very short stacks. But again, in a heads-up situation like this, just best thing to do would be to learn push-fold ranges. Obviously, we want to be jamming pretty wide from the button. Incredibly wide, actually. And again, I think they should be playing push-roll poker at this point. I think any post-flop play is just unnecessary. Right-hand side, we're going to fold the 7-5 offsuit. It's not a hand we want to be jamming into the big blind. Sadly, we'll have to give him the walk. We are going to fold the Queen-7 with the limper here. Pay some chips to get my hand out of the muck. Certainly would. Be pretty interesting to see a showdown, see what Bear Boyo deemed worthy of limping under the gun rather than jamming his short stack. Just rocks up with the ace-8. Which, given his stack size, I don't think folding would be too unreasonable in the first position. Could definitely make an argument for that being a shove. Alright, we're about to start our 10+1. We're up to 5 runners, so we can replace this finished game here on the left. So obviously with the nature of these turbo tournaments on Global Poker, they're very, very high variance, given that you're almost, without having played a hand, we're almost immediately into less than 10 big blind play. So it's going to be very, very high variance. I do think they're very soft, though. Blinds go up again to 100, 200. Obviously, we're down to 5 BBs. It's going to be a very, very interesting bubble, should we say. The next hand's going to be an important one for us, picking something up in the big blind. Because 20% of our stack is flying into the middle. Dolly Parton working the 9 to 5. Not ideal. Really not a lot we can do. We just got to hope for the walk. We don't get a walk, but we do get to see a flop for free. Again, if we flop any connection here, we should be looking to ship it all in. I don't think we can risk a bluff in these games. I don't trust my opponent to fold even an ace high, and we've seen him limp some ace highs. So with us, that says I think we're just going to have to check and fold the board. We will jam this blind v blind with our king. We'd be looking to steal the blinds. We get called off by ace king. It's a pretty unfortunate cooler. Blind v blind. Given the shallow nature of our stacks. Alright, we still only have 5 people registered for this tourney. Where is my 5th member? Come on now. Let's see what else. Hopefully we're close to something else starting in the lobby. I'm just going to jump in everything, I guess, and just hope that something kicks off for you guys. Not to say there's no value here, though, because now we're entering the bubble situation with 3 getting paid here. We're down to the final 5, so it'll be interesting to see how this game plays out, and obviously we can take notes, or we can pick up some strategic content, I guess, off the way that other people are playing, about how these games should be played. Again, this is definitely not what you want to be doing, limping in any hands at this point. Okay, we have a game. We have a game. We are in for 11 here, 10 plus 1 sweeps cash here on globalpoker.com. And we're probably going to open the 6-4 suited from the button. Maybe we don't. Maybe we don't. I think it's fine. We should have a pretty significant post-up edge. So I probably would have come for a raise here. We are looking to get another table started on the right-hand side. So this guy limped the queens, and again, it's really just a case of making the shove here pre-flop, I guess. I don't know why he would ever want to limp. Just no point trapping off such short stacks. I think we're trying to get the another 9-handed game going here. But I think we're fine just to play one ourselves on the left and just keep an eye on how the one on the right hand is going to play it. This is the most interesting part of the tournament, with one place away from the money. So the onus will be on Bear Boyo to, everybody kind of be waiting for this guy to bust. So someone like your man here, G Street, should be applying pressure to the smaller stacks around him. So Downwind really doesn't want to open many buttons here, and likewise Rodadonk doesn't really want to open many small blinds. I think giving G Street the walk is not an unreasonable thing to do. And there's really very little incentive for these two players to get involved in pots. I think Bear Boyo here, if he has a hand strong enough, he should be looking to shove. Obviously, he's got like 6 BB, so min opening and just allowing G Street to realize equity. Or if he has a hand like King Queen here, there's just too many flops for him to miss. If he has a hand like Pocket Nines, there's too many bad flops for him. So I think he should just be jamming anything that he wants to go with. He gets it through this time. G Street should be jamming really wide here into both players, I suppose. Bear Boy a little bit more incentivized to call, given he's the shorter stack. I think everybody on Global Poker just appears to be playing far too passively in general, but definitely around the bubbles. They just don't seem to understand, applying pressure to your opponents who really don't want to make calls. Obviously, with the stacks evening out a little bit, things become a little less attractive for G Street to get involved. Definitely wouldn't advocate limping anything at this blind level. Just keeping ourselves nice and quiet on the left-hand side at this low blind level is fairly, I wouldn't say insignificant, but obviously we're just going to play like super nutted hands. A lot of the, it's kind of not that much incentive to be playing 20-40 when the blinds are going to hit 50-100 pretty quickly, and we can make a decent amount of chips with steals. So unless we pick up something that's obviously a very, very strong starting hand, we're not going to be looking to do too much. I think for a min open here, we'll probably defend though. I don't think so. Do have an all-in on the left, called off by the kings. Looks like queen 6. Nope, queen 6 is going to get there. Bear boy hitting the showers, and now these guys are in the money. So again, like this table becomes far less interesting now. But like pocket kings should never be allowing queen 6 to see a flop. I think what we'll do is we'll register another tournament. We'll register the 10+1. The 9-handed. We'll run this video till about 30 minutes. We'll go for 5 minutes more. And I think we'll just roll the remaining sit and go and the one I've just registered. We'll roll that into part 2. Or the next video in this series. Whatever part we're at. We've made quite a few sit and go videos here now on Global. Mechanic Man was in our other game, wasn't he? This is a pretty huge cooler here. King Queen versus aces off pretty shallow stacks. King high board. Aces, of course, scooping with the aces and 5s. We're going to raise. We're going to call off against Meccano Man. Meccano. I remember that. Obviously, he puts it in. We're just going to call. Pretty good board for us. Obviously, we're not particularly deep stack here. I do think we're just going to want to bet and call off. We're up against the 9-4 offsuit. And we hold. Pretty good start here on our 11. We're going to open here again. And we pick up the chips. So this 11 here is a regular speed tournament. You're looking at 10-minute blind levels, so it's going to be a little bit more room for us to potentially exert an edge over these opponents, given that we're just going to see a few more flops and we're going to be able to play a little bit more post-flop poker. Obviously, there's still a pretty significant edge to be held in the 5-minute blind games, which are the turbos have 5-minute blinds, because as I said, people still are playing those blind levels very, very incorrectly, as we've seen, and continue to see on the right-hand side. We are going to bring in... This is decided to show the lobby instead of my table. We're going to bring in here, we have a 9-handed turbo game, the 3 sweeps cash one, as that was just a quick one to get us in here. I don't think there's going to be too much of a significant change in play between the 3 sweeps cash and the 10 sweeps cash, for example. But having hit 30 minutes in this video, I think we're going to play this ace-queen hand out. and then we will wrap up and roll these sit and goes forward into the second part here. Our play with ace queen is going to be to shove into Sweet Tooth. We could definitely go for like a smaller raise and a call, but I think in general we're going to get a lot of action here in the spot, and if we don't want to raise here, it's like 110 or whatever, 120, and see some pretty bad flops. I don't think we induce a rejam from a much wider range than just calls off anyway, so jamming seems to be the best play. Alright, that's going to conclude this part of the video. I'm going to call this a 30 minutes, and then we'll be back for part 2 where we'll conclude these two sit and goes and possibly more. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video.